Hi guys, hope you are doing well. In this video, I'll be talking about how a software developer should use ChatGPT while writing code. And this concept is called prompt engineering. And many people are talking about prompt engineering. And you might have heard that few days back, the CEO of Nvidia told that don't learn coding nowadays. Learn to become a good prompt engineer. Prompt engineering means when we write a good prompt in the chat in order to get the best result out of these AI tools. It can be the ChatGPT, it can be the Bard from Google or any other such GPT tools. So I will be explaining you different kinds of prompts, best way to write the prompts to get the best results out of it. And I'm using version 4, but you can still watch this video even if you are using 3.5, except that we cannot upload images in 3.5 and the 4 is more accurate. And I'll also show you how we can upload images that can have code, that can have UI UX in order to generate a good code with respect to those images that can contain the UI UX or any kind of design. So let's start off with creating a new chat. And the first thing that I do usually whenever I want to discuss something or get the result, I write, "Hi, are you ready for JavaScript discussion?" It can be anything. I want to start off with discussing JavaScript. I don't want to ask question at the moment, but I'm going to give it this particular prompt. And it says me, "Hi, yes, I'm ready. What topic or question do you have in your mind?" And now I'll be asking the question. It will remember that all the questions that I'll be asking after that will be related to JavaScript. So next prompt that I would like to give it to is like this, that I want you to be an expert in JavaScript. I'm giving it a role that you being an expert means that you have a lot of experience in JavaScript, and help me write a small program in JavaScript. And I'm giving the details that what kind of response I'm expecting from it, that I'm a beginner and know nothing about JavaScript. And the reason I'm adding this particular line because I want ChatGPT to explain each and everything about JavaScript step by step and explain everything. And I would also like to explain each and every step in details, which I have explicitly mentioned over here. And I've added a question, are you up for it? And let's see what happens. So I have given it a response and it has started analyzing my prompt, and it has analyzed that I'm a beginner. I know nothing about JavaScript. So it has started explaining me what is JavaScript and giving me different examples. And you can see that after going through all of these details which it is providing, I should be able to understand what is JavaScript. And all of these details it has given me because I've given him a detail that I'm a beginner, I know nothing about JavaScript, and I want it to explain each and every step in details. All right. So next thing, thanked ChatGPT, that thank you for the detailed response. And now I'm adding a line that please remember my previous details. The reason I have entered this particular detail because I have told ChatGPT that I'm a beginner, I know nothing about JavaScript, and while writing the next prompts, I don't want to explain ChatGPT again and again that I'm a beginner in JavaScript, and I want it to explain every step again and again in details. Okay, and here I have given him this particular prompt, and also I'm asking him to remember my previous details and also write a small JavaScript program to sort an array of integers. And also I have again asked him to write own custom logic for this and don't use any built-in function. So whenever we write prompts, we have to be writing prompts in details, giving him few tips to ChatGPT that this kind of response I'm expecting from it. And I'm going to enter, and it is going to provide me the code following the details which I have given to it. So let's see what it generates. I'm expecting it to not to use any built-in function, and also use the custom logic for sorting an array. And this thing that I will guide you through this sorting an array, and we will use the simplest algorithms for educational purpose. All right. And the reason it is explaining me these things because in previous messages I told him that I'm a beginner in JavaScript and I've just started learning JavaScript, and here it has generated this code, and I don't think that it has used any built-in sort or mapping function of JavaScript in order to sort an array of integers. This is perfect and I think we are going good. Now let's say that I want the response to be in specific format. Let's say I ask a question from ChatGPT and I want it to answer me in only yes or no. So I'll provide him the format. So I first thanked him thanked for the detailed response above, and I'm asking him that forget everything that is discussed previously. Okay, and then I'm asking a new question, that is JavaScript an asynchronous programming language, and the answer is yes or no. So it will remember that it needs to answer in yes or no rather than explaining things. So let's hit enter and see. You can see that it has generated yes, and we can expand this particular response in a sentence. If I enter this particular prompt, that question is JavaScript and asynchronous programming, and answer should be your answer, JavaScript is an asynchronous programming. It can be the yes or no. So it will remember yes or no from my previous message. So let's hit enter and see what happens. So JavaScript is an asynchronous programming language. So the reason it has not entered yes or no, because this sentence is automatically saying yes. Okay, and in order to modify this particular response, rather than adding yes or no, I'm going to add yes or no at this particular place, and let's see what happens. So here you can see that now it has modified this yes. JavaScript is an asynchronous programming language. So this is how we can modify our response to get the proper result. And the next thing that I would like to enter to it, that you being an expert in JavaScript, explain me about JavaScript Clojure, considering I'm a beginner in JavaScript, explain in one paragraph. The reason I have entered this particular line again, because in the previous responses I told him that forget everything that is discussed previously, just to avoid any confusion, that it remembers again that I'm a beginner in JavaScript and it will explain things in one paragraph. This is what we can give it to. And if I hit enter, and obviously I have given him details that it will explain me closures in JavaScript in only one paragraph. All right, even though I'm a beginner. All right, so next thing I would like to add is, remember above discussion about Clojure only, and explain me about this topic step by step in easy English. So in ChatGPT, in prompt engineering, it's all about how we explain things. We don't need to hurry. We have to write a good English and give each and every details what kind of response I'm expecting from the ChatGPT. Then it will be able to generate a proper response. All right, so let's move further and let's talk about React now. I will start sharing code with it, and now you can see that rather than explaining in one paragraph, it is explaining Clojure with examples, with details, considering that I'm a beginner in JavaScript. All right, so let's add this particular prompt. Before starting asking question, I'm first asking him that forget everything discussed previously, and let's now talk about React.js. So are you ready? So let's hit enter, and it has just given me one line prompt that absolutely, rather than explaining me each and every step, the reason is that I've asked this particular question at the end. Let's add a long prompt here and share the code. So here you can see that in a React component, I have written the following code. Okay, so this is the code which I have shared with it, and this is something that I will be expecting you guys to understand if you are a React developer. And then I have explained these details to it, that this component renders again and again when ID changes. Can you explain step by step what is happening here and how can I improve it? Also, please consider that I'm a beginner in React and not having a very good English. Let me modify that, and ask me any question if you have any before generating response. This particular line is also very important, that it will ask few more questions from me if it needs to. So let's hit enter, and it will be explaining me each and every step in detail, and also it will generate an improved version of the code which I have shared with it. And these details are very important. Don't just say read the code and explain me what is happening. Just tell him that what kind of response you want, a beginner level and advanced level, in one paragraph, step by step, how you want to get the response. This is all about the prompt engineering, and you can see that it has explained every line of code step by step, and it is now giving us these improvement suggestions that we can do. All right. And one more tip that I would like to give you, that you guys might know that I create videos on Next.js, and there are multiple versions of Next.js. On old version we uses the pages directory, but in new version we uses app directory. So whenever you try to generate a response about Next.js, always add the version along with it. That remember that I'm using version 13 of Next.js that uses app directory structure. Sometimes what happens is, when I don't write this line and ask that I'm using Next.js, please explain the code, it don't understand that I'm using the app directory structure. It starts explaining me things from the pages directory structure. So making sure that it generates and consider the latest version of Next.js, always mention the required details so that you don't mess up the proper response from it. All right. So now I'm going to attach an image. Let's say this is the code which I have attached to it, and this code I've got it from a tutorial or from online, and this is not editable. This is just an image. I want ChatGPT to generate the proper response from it. So I have entered this particular response: attached image contain code from React component. I have explained him that this is the React component code, just to help ChatGPT. Okay, just to support ChatGPT, that it doesn't feel any issue in understanding the text written in this image. And I want you to be carefully understand this image to write exact code for me in editable form that I can copy. Okay, and asking this particular line that I want you to carefully understand this image might sometime put ChatGPT under pressure and might not generate the response properly. Let me share it with you. So if I hit enter, you will see that it will generate this particular code. But sometimes what happens is, avoid using this, carefully understand. It takes too much time, and sometimes it fails when there is too much code. Currently there is a very less code, but if I share some complex code with too much lines, then it will not generate a proper response. Might be a chance that it generates a wrong code or failed to process this particular image. Rather than, you can just write that I want you to extract code for me in editable form. That's it. That I can just copy. All right, and it will correctly extract the code from that. All right, so next thing, I would like to show you guys that I will be adding an image which is for the UI UX. Let's say I have this Figma image, and I want to write code to design this particular form that can have the username, text field, first name, last name, password. Don't just share that this is the image. I want you to write a React component for it using Tailwind CSS. Give details what this image contains. Okay, so this is the detail which I will give it to. Forget every discussion previously. I want you to analyze design from attached image and write code for the React component. This is the one of the detail to look similar to this. All right. And just to let you know that the image contain a form for sign up that include the following details. Okay. Let me modify that. Following details. Form has a white background, a top card, below title, sign up. Then there are text boxes for username, last name, email. Finally, there is a sign up button with a gradient blue background and white text, and an arrow at the top right of the button. Okay. At the end, there is a checkbox with terms of service link. I want you to use only Tailwind CSS classes to write React component for this particular form. These details are very important. I'm helping out ChatGPT that following these details, it needs to analyze this image in order to write the code for me. So let's hit enter and let's see what happens. It should analyze this image considering these details, and imagine that when you would be designing this form, how long you would take. Maybe 15 minutes, half an hour, or maybe more. But just by writing these details in few minutes, you will get this code that have this form available, and you can just copy this code and use it in your code. There might be a chance that there are mistakes in terms of padding, margin, font style, font sizes, that you can modify yourself if you have a little bit understanding about the Tailwind CSS. All right. And if you are using any of the GPT add-ons, let me see. So these are all the add-ons of ChatGPT. Even if you are using specific add-on, let's say image generator or logo creator, along with sharing any images, again, give details, give the role to the ChatGPT, give details. And at the end, it's always a good practice to ask ChatGPT that ask me any question if you have any confusion. And also tell your level of understanding for the response you are expecting from ChatGPT. So this is how I use ChatGPT in my daily to daily coding practices when I build different websites. So I hope that you understand how we can write proper prompt to get the best results out of it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna be creating more such videos in upcoming days. See you in the next video.